Today I'm going to be making a family favourite, which is burrito bowls with guacamole and pico de gallo. Welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. Today I'm going to be making burrito bowls, so let's get going. Let's get the ingredients that I'm going to be using out. I've got corn and black beans, I've got my beef, now I'm going to get the stove on. Also going to be making rice to go along with it, so I'm just going to get that pan out just for later on. I'm going to add 1 kilogram of beef into the pot. This beef is from Aldi. I'm not really sure what the fat content is on it. It's a 3-star mince, so it does produce a little extra grease, but that's okay. So I'm just going to smush it down. I probably should have let the pan be on for a little bit longer before I put the meat in, but just going to break it up into some pieces and then let it cook, or let it brown on the first side while I go cut some things up. I'm going to use this little dicey thing that you can get from, this one's just from Amazon. I don't even know exactly which one it is, but there's a billion of them that you can find on Amazon. So I put the little white piece in there, which is the plate that pushes the stuff down through the blades. And I'm going to be using a really small blade to begin with. This is cucumbers. I'm going to be making the pico de gallo, so I just cut them in half and then in half again, long ways. I end up coming back and slicing them in half again because I realized they're a little bit too big to go in the slicer. I'm going to do tomatoes as well. These little Roma tomatoes, mini Roma tomatoes. Once I get enough, what I think is enough to begin with at least, I'm going to put them through the slicer. I'm just going to come across and check the beef, and it's nowhere near brown enough on the bottom yet, so I'm just going to leave it. So I'm just going to start with this lot first. I'll probably come back and do more. Here's where I realize I'm going to have to cut them into pieces. I go back and forth whether I think this is a quicker method of making a pico de gallo, or like slicing anything really, dicing anything. I go back and forth whether I think this is quicker, because I do have to cut all the pieces into pretty small chunks, and by the time I've done this, I probably could have just diced them. The thing that I like about this though is it does make them all the same size, which is handy, rather than probably some little mismatched pieces in there when I do it by hand. I find if you put the tomatoes with the shiny side up, with the cut side down, they go through this thing a lot easier. If you do it the other way around, they kind of just get smushed and don't really go through the blade. I'm just going to check, and there's nowhere near enough, so I'm going to make more. So now I've got a pretty good mix of what I want, cucumber and the ratio I want of cucumber and tomato. Let's go check the beef again. You can see there's a lot of oil, a lot of juices coming out of it now, but I'm starting to get a little bit of it brown. Probably not going to get it much more brown because of the juices in the beef that are coming out aren't going to let me get a good sear. So now I'm just going to do red onion to go in the pico. And I use the smallest blade still. Still needs a little extra red onion, I think, so I end up using another little quarter of the half, so I guess an eighth. So now I'm pretty happy with the amount that I've got in there and the amount of the ratio between the 3 different ingredients. So that's set that aside for now. Now I'm going to get my rice on. So I've got 2 cups of rice. And no, I don't usually rinse my rice. I haven't seen a difference whether it's rinsed or not. I don't really see a difference in the final product. So 2 cups of rice, 4 cups of water. I'm just going to get that stove turned on. So to cook rice, I put it on high until it comes to a boil, and then I turn it right down to low, simmer it for about 10 or so minutes, and then just after that I feel like you can just turn it off and just leave the lid on, and it just sits there and it's fine. So I just got rid of some of the grease because I don't quite want that much in there. Then I'm going to get in my taco seasoning. This is the stuff that you get from Aldi. It's just 2 packets of the mild seasoning. I was trying the salt reduced one, but it doesn't have much flavor. It doesn't have enough salt in it. Obviously it's salt reduced, and yeah, I just think it tastes a little bit better this way. Either way, I'm adding more salt, so I may as well just get the taco seasoning that doesn't have the salt reduced. Try and get all that stirred in and break up any of those bigger pieces. I do have one of those meat breaker upper thingies. It looks like a little star shape on the end of it, and you break up the meat with it. But I just find the meat gets stuck in it, and then yeah, I end up with meat stuck in between the little blade parts, the little bits. So I think just a spoon or a wooden spoon or a spatula or whatever is just as good. So then I've got the beef turned right down now. Now I'm going to make the guacamole, but I'm going to get the pico in a container first because I'm going to make the guacamole in that same container. So I'm going to take that smaller blade out and put in a bigger one. This is another thing, I don't know whether it's really any quicker to make guacamole in this thing or not, but I've already got it dirty, I may as well. So I couldn't really find very soft avocados. This is quite firm. You'll see in a minute that it takes me a good few minutes to make it all mushy and make guacamole out of it. But it's what I could get on that particular day, so it still worked and it still tasted good. It just took a little extra effort to get it all mushed up. Because it wasn't the ripest one out there, it took a little bit to peel off the outsides and things. I'm just going to chop them down the middle so they fit into the slicer thing. See, this is where I probably was just way quicker if I had have just cut them up. This is all going to get mushed anyway. So you can see here, it's quite difficult to mush all of the avocado. I think I get it a little bit mushy. It'll be a little easier to mush once I put the lemon juice and stuff in it. So I end up just leaving it, and then I go check my mince again, and my rice is boiled over. Not a fan, because that was annoying to clean up later on. I wasn't paying attention to it. I'm just going to give my beef another bit of a stir. It's getting some nice little brown bits on it now. So I'm not quite ready to put all the beans and things in it yet, because I want to get all the rest of my prep work done. So I think I end up turning it off there, just turning the burner off and leaving it sit for a few minutes while I get the rest of this ready. I ended up having to buy a whole bag of avocados just to get one more that was somewhat soft enough to use that day. And then look at the inside of it. There's no pip. The pip is like all gone. I've never seen that before. Clearly you can see how much shock I'm in. Anyway, so I end up getting that in there and just mush that around as well. I'm not looking for every single little piece of avocado to be mushed, but I want the majority of it to be smushed. I'm going to add in I'm going to go drain them. Then I'm going to add in my beans and corn. I'm just going to get the pan back on because it's been sitting there for a few minutes now. So I've got those drained. Just going to get them in. I also swapped my spatula because the other one had raw meat on it, so I have got a new spatula here. I think I forgot to mention that though before. So my rice is just simmering away. Now I've got this turned back on. And I'm just going to do a little bit of a tidy up because I've got my guacamole sitting there and my pico sitting there. So I'm just going to tidy up a little bit, put some of these things away. Now I'm going to get the cheese grater out and get ready to grate my cheese. End up realizing it's too hard to hold the whole thing, so I just chop off a chunk and get that grating instead. Way easier to hold it when it's not holding so much. Now it's time to just wipe down the bench a little bit and get the plates out because everything's nearly ready to go. I end up getting rid of that plate because I noticed the dishwasher didn't clean it properly. So I get another one. So I've got light sour cream and corn chips. And here I'm gonna season the pico and the guacamole and make it all taste nice. And here comes Bobby with her cheese sacks. She didn't even see the cheese in my hand, which is so not like her. Normally she sniffs it out immediately. So the way I like to do guacamole and pico is I just put a good glug of lemon juice. Sometimes I use lime as well, but today I think I just use lemon. And then salt. Good pinch of salt to make it taste really good. You want that little bit of saltiness, but you also want the tang, and then the fresh veggies in there. Just tastes so good. And I'm going to get another spoon out so that I can taste it. And it's just a little bit of a labor of love, just tasting it and mixing it and tasting it and mixing it until you get it the way you guys in your family like it. Then I just do the same for the guacamole. It starts to loosen up a bit once you've got a bit of lemon juice in there. It starts to get a little bit more mushy, like the guacamole texture. So we're ready now to plate. And the way I plate it is I get some rice on the plate first. Sort of smush it all out so that it becomes like a base layer. Then another couple of big spoonfuls of the beef mixture, the beef and the corn and the black beans. Then I put on some cheese. Next goes the fun part with all the little add-ons that we've got. So I always grab a heap of Pico. By the time I put all the toppings on, you really can't even see that there's rice or beef on it, but it tastes so good though. And then a big spoonful of guacamole. There's only a couple of us that like the Pico and the guacamole, so there's only really 3 of us that eat the guacamole part. And then take a big dollop of sour cream. I also like to put some green onions on mine, or spring onions we call them here in Australia. So I'm just gonna dice up a couple of these. I think I'm the only one that wanted them, so I just put them on my plate. And then it's almost ready to eat. Sprinkle them on. Doing the voiceover for this makes me really want to eat it. And I'm going to take a couple of corn chips and put them around the side. And then it's practically ready to eat. I just want to thank you so much for watching, and hopefully maybe you even cook along with me. And I really, 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 really appreciate any person who has watched this far. And I can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye.